So as we head towards Renegades next week, of course at this point we've had quite a few previews regarding the game in general, whether it's the new content in the expansion, the Lawless Frontier, the Star Wars themed loot, and all of the very new stuff. On top of that, there are also system changes coming up, including updates to the portal, additional content and playlists being added, changes to the economy and progression systems, quality of life and general investment into Destiny 2. And in this video, that's what we're going to focus on, to round up how the core game is changing with the update in December. So as always guys, I hope you find this one useful, and if you do, hit subscribe so I can keep you up to date with more content, but otherwise, now let's get into it. If you want a fast recap of all of the new content coming in Renegades, the lightsabers, the blasters, the Lawless Frontier, the exotics, and the juicy shiny stuff, I've got a separate video we posted yesterday, which I will link down below, but this one is focusing on the core game and what Bungie are doing to change that going into Renegades, which really is ultimately as important as the expansion content, and if anything is probably more important for the day-to-day life of Destiny. So going into Renegades, Bungie have said in update 950, which is the Renegades update itself on December 2nd, and the subsequent update on December 9th, they've continued to apply lessons learned from the core game in Edge of Fate, so players are going to be able to reach the power cap directly through the Renegades activities. Of course, the power cap is not increasing, so it will remain at 550. Additionally, all seasonal power and featured gear carry across to the season, so weapons and armor which are exotic are now always featured, and additionally, anything we earned in Edge of Fate will still be relevant and considered to be new gear. Bungie will also have a catch-up system where players who complete the Renegades campaign will catapult to 300 power if they're currently below that. Another big change is, if you missed them from back in Edge of Fate, is that Bungie have deprecated the unstable core economy entirely, so unstable cores are gone. Plus there's a returning player boost, so for folks who come back and get to 300 power, which will be pretty quick, there'll additionally be a series of returners gifts, which are packages including materials, tier 3 and 4 gear, exotic engrams, bright dust, Eververse engrams, and more, so Bungie are certainly trying to get players back on board. Other quick quality of life updates though include that Bungie are increasing vault size to 1,000 slots. They're also adding new filtering and sorting options for the vault, which help us identify different rarities, high and low power levels, and all of that kind of stuff. Plus, a new system that allows us to use exotic ornaments for the same class and slot, but from different exotics. So in the exotic Hunter Gauntlet slot, for instance, we would be able to use any visual from any exotic Hunter Gauntlet item. Other kind of system and quality of life changes which affects the bulk of the game though include an upgrade to the season hub, so it'll be kind of similar to what we have now. There'll still be a weekly reward track. It will also still feature daily and weekly objectives including seasonal challenges, and a new system which are called Vanguard Orders. Vanguard Orders are essentially bounties or additional objectives which change week over week, and they're generated based on what we currently have equipped. So if you've got void weapons or a strand subclass equipped, the objectives will try and target that particular setup so that we don't have to constantly change to actually complete the objectives, and this will be a new source for earning bright dust on an ongoing basis. In addition to that, we'll also see new portal content. So currently confirmed is a new solo ops activity on the Typhon Imperator, and that will be obviously a large Cabal ship linked to the faction of Cabal on Mars in Renegades. We will also see the return of the Sunless Cell in Fireteam Ops, as well as Vox Obscura and Derealize in Pinnacle Ops, and then Bungie are adding a new category to the portal called Arena Ops. These are 6-player activities, and we can see they include things like Catch Crash, Astral Alignment, and Nightmare Containment, which at least opens up a little bit of the variety for featured portal content. In addition to that, Bungie have confirmed we will get new sets of gear, so the gear we can see on screen right here, both the weapons and armor, will come from Fireteam and Solo Ops. There will additionally be new gear added to Pinnacle Ops and to Crucible Ops, as well as Trials of Osiris, so across the board a refresh for the featured rewards for the different portal categories and activities. There'll be an additional component though which is added to the Season Hub, which comes in the form of a more casual version of what conquests are essentially. These are called Vanguard Alerts, so Bungie say they want this to fill the gap that we see with things like Nightfall activities. And these playlists contain a set of activities including new 6-player PvE arena ops, and that they will have preset modifiers with boosted rewards on a weekly basis. There will additionally be a Grandmaster Vanguard alert, and GM ones will be harder to complete but offer greater rewards. And on top of having bonus weapon and armor drops, for those still leveling up, the amount of power we can earn in Vanguard alerts will be higher than just about anywhere else in the game. And we can see it's a mixture of different activities, so things like the Sunless Cell, but also endgame options like the Desert Perpetual and the new dungeon. And the rewards inside of these will come from the corresponding reward pools, plus there'll be a primary source for seasonal weapons, which feature a new origin trait called Accelerated Assault, which loads a small amount of ammo to the weapon after dealing sustained damage. And by completing Vanguard alerts, we'll get additional rewards like Chronologs and Bright Dust. Importantly though, the content in Vanguard alerts will change on a weekly basis, so Bungie want this to sort of be a weekly reset flashpoint with particular featured gear and activities to improve the sense of kind of variation in the featured content that we get on a weekly basis. And so, outside of Renegades itself, which of course includes the Lawless Frontier, the new progression around the Tharsis Outpost and the factions, and all of the Star Wars themed loot, this is how Bungie are going to kind of support the Portal and the endgame week over week beyond Renegades. On top of that though, a big component will of course be the events roadmap, so the Dawning will return in December, then we'll see the return of Arms Week in January, Guardian Games again in March, and a mid-season version of Call to Arms dropping in April. Otherwise, they've confirmed that Iron Banner and Heavy Metal will return at some point in that window as well. Other quality of life components though that we'll see for Renegades includes that we'll get a big weapon tuning pass, so that will include changes to legendary archetypes, general sandbox balance, and reworks for exotic weapons. So I'll link a separate video down below that has all of the details on the weapon changes. There'll additionally be armor tuning changes, primarily focusing on reworks to exotic armor pieces, and a big refresh of ability tuning. So as always, this update will both touch new content, but also revamp and reinvigorate, hopefully, a bunch of existing things in the game. And again, with those abilities, weapon, and armor tuning changes being fairly significant lists, it would take us forever to get into all of them right here, but I'll link the relevant videos down below. So there we have it. Give us your impressions on the system changes Bungie are introducing alongside Renegades. Again, if you want to catch more of the Renegades new content specifically, the dedicated video for that is linked down below. But if you've enjoyed this one, a rating very much helps us out. Hit subscribe as well, as in the coming week we'll have plenty of content to cover around the Renegades expansion, so keep it locked and loaded for that. But otherwise, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
You are supposed to protect the people, not rule them. The time of guardians as shepherds of humanity is over.
No!
I've been waiting so long for this. Dredge and hope.
They've shown me a vision I can't shake. New Cabal, the Barrent Imperium, sprung up out of nowhere across the system. That doesn't just happen. It's the Nine, and I'm putting together a crew to prove it. What do you say, weapon?
Welcome to the new Mars. Now the only law on Tharsis is the gun on your hip and the light in your hands. You'll do well here. I don't relish doing business with these leeches, but we need to find out what the Dredgen are after.
You crave justice. Why die for a criminal?
Why do you hate your own kind so much? It's time to take the fight to the Imperium.
Finish it. The Imperium is yours to lead. You will fall. The next time we meet.
Only one play left.